We're live. Good morning. It's still morning. Yes, it's morning in most places. We're back. We're ready for another In the Win series. And I'd really, really love to introduce you to somebody who's very special to me. She's my little sister in earring soulmate. This is one of the VIP members actually in the copy check-in, the amazing Jen from Something Glorious Coaching. Hi, Jen.
Hello. Always
Hi.
love talking.
Because it's fun. Because we're buddies now. We send each other
Yeah.
things. You send me things. You beautiful things like lollies and beautiful succulents, which I still have. I have not killed all of them yet. No. So you've been with me. You've been part of the check-in for a while now. I'd love to hear, where were you? So your coaching is, you're all about mindset and productivity and helping mums in business kind of find their groove, right? That's kind of where we start this story, isn't it?
Yeah, so love working with business owning mums to help reclaim their joy and reclaim their time in their lives. We're all busy, we're all overwhelmed, and we get bogged down in that daily routine where we're kind of just going through the motions, and we're not coming from a place of joy or happiness, and that gets really, I don't know the word, you'll know the word, Lizzie, it gets a bit crappy.
Summarizing.
Over.
Yeah. It's unmotivating, isn't it? It's not really, it doesn't light you up. Go, oh God, we're doing the same thing. Oh, cool.
Feeling it just becomes that mundane life, and that's not what I want for women out there.
No. And so we've been doing this thing for a little while now. Is it like more than a year? Can you tell me about, even just at the start? In fact, I might preface this by saying this isn't one of these, and then I made $5 billion stories. This isn't about that, because I think there's so many different ways that we can celebrate and win at our businesses. And it's not purely about the bottom line. It's helpful, but I think a lot of us need to see that it's not just that you win at. It's finding ways through to break into the space that is purely yours, to do it in a way that suits you, that you love as well. And I think you've really managed to nail that, Jen. And it's taken, there have been times over this journey that you've gone, nah, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. This sucks. Where's my Bunnings application? And you've always found a way through that. And I really wanted to acknowledge that. And I also wanted to normalize that feeling. I have that feeling fairly regularly, because owning and running and leading a business is not always easy. So I'd like to really celebrate you for that and really acknowledge the courage that it takes. Beck says that's been me, because it does take courage to stick with something. It's so easy to go, do you know what? Look at this is hard. I'm going to run away. But when it is your passion, when it is your life's mission to help people the way that it is yours, you kind of almost don't have a choice but to keep going, right?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. In those moments where I have thought, the work that I'm going to submit to Lizzie today will be my resume. Like, there are times I'm like, Lizzie is going to update my resume. Whew.
Oh, buddy. But see, because it matters. And I love that about you. You care so deeply about what you're doing. You're so passionate about it, and you're so good at it as well. And I get why it's emotional, because this is you. This is your thing. This is the thing you care about, aside from your gorgeous family, the thing that you care about most, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And I think that's, you've summed it up completely, where there are times where I'm done, I'm giving up, like, I can't do this anymore. And then I think I've just got to take that that one little step.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll try this and then I'll give up next week. And then when, you know, I start doing what I'm told, you know, when I've got supportive people around like you that are telling me the process and helping me with my words and showing me what I need to do, it's like, all right, well, I'll do the thing. You know, I'll do what I'm told. I will follow the process. I will keep putting my, you know, keep stepping, keep taking steps every day.
Yeah.
And then when you see how that little thing pays off, that spurs you on. You know, all right, okay, I'll take it another day at a time. You know, I'll give up next week. I'll put the rest of the day on pause.
Yeah.
And I'll just concentrate on this one little thing, and it just creates that momentum in you, and you finally start thinking, this is what it takes. And yeah, it's really hard, but it also becomes, is this an oxymoron? An easy hard.
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
It's hard to keep going, but it's easy to keep going.
Totally.
Because you've got support. And, you know, it's hard because of the unknown of what's going to come out of it. But it's easy when you know what you're doing, when you've got the right messaging and you've got that guidance to say, well, put those steps in place and let's see what happens.
Yeah. I think it's also because you know it's going to be worth it when it all comes together too. You know, like it's, okay, it's hard, this is shit, but this is, I have to do this. This is what I'm here for. And like, it takes a long time for us to discover what our life's purpose is. Sometimes an entire lifetime. And so when you find it, you kind of commit, don't you? You got to keep going. You got to do what it takes to get there. And it pushes you to some very uncomfortable places from time to time. But that's kind of the reality, isn't it? Is that that's just part of the process.
Yeah. And I think with me, it's that consistency that gets me the momentum, but then the momentum helps me get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so, you know, when I work with my clients, it's teaching them, you know, to move out of your comfort zone enough so that you're challenged, but not so much that you're going to completely freak out and then run back to the comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's all about stretching just that slightly enough to be like, oh shit, you know, this is scary.
Totally.
And then you do it.
Yeah.
And so then your comfort zone gets a little bit bigger.
Exactly.
And so that's what happened with me, in that I've gone in, I've done what I needed to do, and now I look back and think, wow, next time I can, you know, times that by 5 maybe, you know, and
totally. I think you're right as well. It's just you need these kind of tiny breadcrumbs of momentum, and then they get bigger and bigger. And I think it's kind of like it's a weird image, I suppose, that came up is with like weight loss or something, where if you're trying to lose weight and then you see like the scales move at all, and then you see the scales move, it kind of spurs you on to like the next thing. I kind of thought about that as like the opposite of like, you see a little bit of growth and then a little bit more and then a little bit more, and suddenly you're sort of developing that belief or reinforcing that belief that you started with, that kind of maybe sort of gets challenged along the way. But ultimately, when you're clear about your purpose and you're clear about your mission and you're clear about yourself, then it just becomes about finding which lever to pull and in which order do you need to do these things. So I really wanted to share your story for that, because I think especially we had a lot of ladies as they came into the group said like they're putting huge amount of effort in to their work, to their marketing, to their words, but they're just never quite sure if people are listening, right? And I think yours is the perfect example of they're definitely listening, even if they're not being vocal. Because you just held a really great challenge, a really great, very public thing that I know pushed you quite far out of your comfort zone. There seem to be people that came out of the woodwork for that, right? Who you didn't even know were watching you, but then you're like, oh, that's so Jen. You're like, huh?
yeah. And that was a real. I feel like the more I put out of myself, the more of myself I put out there and start to tell people who I am and what I do and create that constant message. Yeah, I did have someone recently comment about me and procrastination, and that's what I'm known for, not as a procrastinator, but as a person who helps women overcome procrastination. I didn't know who that person was, but they knew me. That was really like, it's happening. It's starting, people know who I am now, slowly. And again, as you said, that's that little breadcrumb that that gives you enough momentum to like, all right, you're doing something right. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, you do. You need that reinforcement, that sort of, I don't know, I can imagine it gets quite discouraging. I know that you have had those moments as well. I've had those moments being like, shit, is this really worth it? And the answer ultimately always seems to be yes, even on the days. And you're saying like hard, easy, hard. It's kind of, I feel like when you're doing the thing you're most passionate about, it's simply that it's worth it. Like all of the hardship, all of the pains, all of the challenges, all of the difficulties, because you're building to something amazing. And I can really see that with you, is that you are building to something amazing, and that you seem to have this kind of renewed energy for what you're doing. I feel like you've kind of, I know it's kind of a cliche to say, but like you've leveled up. You've kind of found that next part of you, and you kind of seem more sure of yourself now and more committed to the direction that you're headed, which is really, really great.
And I think with that comes that understanding and acknowledgement that it is really hard. And so once you accept that it's hard, and it's all that stuff that gets in the way, but all the background stuff.
Yeah.
All the work it takes to get to, you would know, running this challenge, all the back end work. That's the really hard stuff. To do what you do and love is easy, but what it takes to get there. And then once you've done it once, as you said, I just finished a crash course last week, and now that I've done it once, I just replicate that.
Yeah.
So it's hard until you got to do it again. You're like, oh, well, everything's set up. Everything's ready to go. I know what I had to do last time.
Yeah.
I just do it all over again.
And you do it all over again, but you do it with minor tweaks. Every opportunity, every single thing that we do is an opportunity to learn. Whether it goes well, all right, we'll do exactly that. If it goes and there's stuff that you want to do differently next time, or you just like, I just want to see what happens if I try it differently. Okay, cool. But you then have that framework set up,
exactly.
Because you've got foundational messaging done, because you've got your overriding faith in the concept, great. And then it's just about massaging it to a way that works for you, however possible. So I think, I really wanted to share this with you. Share you with everybody else, because I think it's a really important conversation to have, that our expectations on ourselves are often very, very high. Our expectations that things will work out in a certain time period are sometimes, I don't know what's the right word, they're maybe a little off about how long something's going to take, or how, like, you see, or how much effort something is going to take. Like, as you're saying, something like this, there's a lot of background work and we come on and we can have a chat, but there's like months of preparation for a lot. And it's the same for everybody. I think we're all doing this really great job of being like, everything's cool, everything's fine. In the back, I'm going, oh my God, it's crazy. So, I'm really pleased to be able to sort of have this conversation too, because it's cool. And we can still have fun. We have so much fun just figuring it out as we go. It's a whole big experiment, right?
Yeah. And you've seen it all through me. You know, I've sent you the messages of this is so much work, and I can't quote you perfectly, but something like your brain like wants to melt out of your ears or something like that. Just the work. But you know, you've received those messages from me that this is so much hard work. This is driving me crazy. To at the end of my crash course, I sent you a voice message saying, you know, oh my God, I've done it. You know, I've done it. I'm finished. I'm going to go collapse into bed. But then as soon as I finished saying that, I'm like, I'm already thinking about my next challenge.
Amazing. Yeah. And that's when you know you've done the right thing. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I'm like, all right, I know where I need to tweak and refine. I'm going to do this differently. So it's like, let's take all that learning and let's take it into the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's that still that excitement from, you know, wanting my brain to, melt to collapsing into bed to let's do this again.
Yeah. And see, this is what's fun. And I really love that I've been able to be a part of that for you as well. And I have had to kick you in the bum a few times. The lovingest bum kicks in the world, of course. It's like, I love you. Get on with it. Or you've sent me, very occasionally, you've submitted work into the check-in membership that has been like, yeah, this sucks, but I'm sending it anyway. And I've respectfully said, don't send it to me if this is your attitude. It's like, because clearly it's not coming from a place that you're even happy with it. The brain melting out the ears. Quite right. Isn't it fun? But we do get to that point. But the thing is I think what's so great about the space that we are in is that we can have that respectful kind of back and forth of like, I know you need this support. And sometimes you do need a bit of a firm, like, right, pull yourself together. You need to have your meltdown moment, but really, how is this helping you? You know, and I think we've had a few moments like that. But ultimately, you still know that what I'm trying to do for you is to help no matter what. And even on the really ordinary days, my job is not to make you feel bad. My job isn't to let you wallow either. My job is to move you forward. And I hope that kind of comes across. In the way
and it absolutely does, because I see how I work with my clients the same as how you work with me, in that not that you don't want me to wallow, but it's like, let's not stay there. Let's, all right, well, what's going on? You know, when I do have those times where I'm like, this is too hard, I want to give up. And it's like, yep, we've all been there, but what's that one thing that you can do? You know, how can I help you? What do we need? Or what do you need to step out of that wallow enough to move forward?
Yeah. It's an interesting one. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Like, I think what we can do sometimes is we can get caught in the big picture. Like, we need to have a vision of the big picture, but sometimes that can be quite overwhelming. Like, oh my God, I've got to do so much. And if I don't do this, then the whole thing comes crashing down.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but we just need to keep putting one little foot in front of the next and get out of that hole that we've kind of made. And it's not easy. So I guess, all to say, well done, Jen. It's been so great watching this transformation, especially probably, even the last 2 to 3 months, where you've really, really come from like, I like what I'm doing, to like, I know exactly where I'm going now. I think it's just such a fabulous, like, there's this confidence about you, which I don't think was necessarily there when we started working together. It's really, really, I just celebrate you, bud. I think you've done an amazing job.
Thank you. It's all thanks to you and your support and your words, and because it's when I write something, and I've mentioned it to you, that when I send you something and it comes back with very little tweaks or changes, that's really empowering to know
Great.
that I appreciate your wealth of knowledge and your wisdom with words. So receiving something back from you with hardly any changes gives me the confidence to think, well, I do know what I'm doing.
You do. You do. I find that a lot. It's funny you mentioned that, Jen. I have a few of you guys who come occasionally message me. It's like, I have your voice in my head now. How does that happen? So, I'll provide feedback, and I'll provide a recorder for those who aren't aware. So I'll provide a recording on some of the things, so I can explain the rationale behind the changes that I've made, so that it makes sense for you guys. So that, like you've just described, when the time comes that you need to call on that skill again, you've got it there, except my apologies, now I am stuck in your head forever.
No, but doesn't that feel, because when I hear from women that I work with, or even that I haven't worked with, and they say, your voice was in my head the other week when I wanted to procrastinate or so and so. And it's a great feeling knowing that, your guidance, your support, and your wisdom is staying with people, and you stay with me in my head, because I'm continually asking myself, so what?
That is my favorite question. So what? Why is this important?
It is the perfect question to ask in so many other situations as well.
Nice.
So what? And if people don't understand why you're asking it, it can come across as rude, but when they start to answer it, it's like, yeah, because that's what I do. I dig a little deeper. So what? So what?
Tell me about that. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That is my favorite question to ask, because we really do need to interrogate. Like, we get a bit top level, a bit surface. So, like, what's under that? And we peel back the layers of why whatever thing is a good thing or whatever. So I'm very pleased that lasted.
And I think it's my favorite thing to do with my clients as well, is, all right, what's underneath, as you said, what's underneath the surface? Let's dig. Do some digging. What does that mean?
That's so cool. Well, Jen, look, honestly, I'm so proud of you. Everything you've achieved, everything you're still about to achieve, like, it's all just coming together so beautifully. And I just really wanted to acknowledge the journey and share the brilliance that is Jen Radman, because you've made my world so much more bright and fun and joyful. So if anyone's got a question, drop it in the comments. But I think we're just about good to go back to our lives and get on with some more brilliant creative awesomeness. Cool. So thanks, Jen, for coming along for a chat. It's always fun.
Thank you for all your support and your guidance, and this challenge is amazing, and just the power that is Lizzie is
boom. So that that's just me doing my thing, having a big noisy thing happening out the back of me. I hope that wasn't distracting for you. It was distracting me a little bit. Did you hear it? Oh, okay, cool. Then I'm just
did, but I was talking.
Oh, well, thank you. Let's just gloss over it. Thanks so much for you guys coming, listening as well, getting a bit of reality of like what it's like for all of us business owners. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Tomorrow is the Zoom, as I've said. Come join the fun. It's going to be so great. Or maybe Jen will be there. Maybe she won't. It's a mystery. But I will be there, seeing as it is my session. So I'll go do that. Have an amazing, what day is it? Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday. Gosh, have an amazing Wednesday. We'll see you all tomorrow. All right. Thanks, Jen. Bye-bye.